This year, the stakes have never been lower. FTP Network presents Race Draft 2026, the only televised event where Black MAGA is traded like Trump's wives, used and below market value. No more cooning for conservatives. No more auditioning for white approval. Draft night is here. Who's getting shipped out? Who's getting picked up? And who's headed to free agency with nobody willing to claim them? This isn't just politics. This is for the culture. Watch on YouTube at For the People Podcast Show.
To ever accuse me of a crime, that's a white woman, a white woman. A meth-faced bitch, and she gets sky high. That's a white woman, a white woman. Under oath, and she still gon' lie. That's a white woman, a white woman. Gave Donnie Slobber Topper just to keep her job. When it's all over, she won't even get the charge. That's a white woman, a white woman. A white woman, a white woman. Arrogant racist, yeah. Who are they good for? Absolutely no one. Arrogant racist, yeah. Who are they good for? Absolutely no one. Say it again, y'all. Arrogant racist, look out. Who are they good for? Absolutely no one. From DEI to DUI, the DOD is DIY. Israel first, America last. Now Iran is on that ass. Wanna pull out, but the condom broke. Won't run through homeless, don't want the smoke. Drop bombs over Baghdad. You ready to go? Getting screwed on the daily. You a GI hole. Benny's hiding peak. You on your own. Iran got that fire, bitch. The heat is on. Arrogant racist, yeah. Who are they good for? Absolutely no one. Arrogant racist, yeah. Who are they good for? Absolutely no one. Say it again, y'all. Arrogant racist, look out. Who are they good for? Absolutely no one.
Hey, you guys, welcome to For the People Podcast. I'm your host, Vision X, and this show is for the people, by the people to bring power back to the people. I am joined by one of our former co-hosts, comedian Samson McCormick. Yes, and so it will be us two today. We have a packed show. There's a lot that is going on, a lot. And Samson, what we're doing now is we're starting, let's call it a race draft, who we're going to keep on our side. And so, I mean, literally with times like this, because I was just watching a report where Nigeria is having issues trying to figure out who's friend or foe. I said, the problem is y'all got too many coon-tastic ass people in the midst of y'all, and y'all not separating them. Yeah. That's what happened to Martin Luther King. That's what happened with Malcolm X. And unfortunately, that's why they weren't alive. You got to know who's in your camp. It's just the way things are. So we did this race draft. On the docket, and I'll pull up their photos as well. And this is something that we pretty much open with. 1 second, let me go here. So we open with these four right here. So the first one was Omarosa.
Oh, Lord.
We decided to keep Omarosa. We decided to keep Omarosa on the other side. And so she's out. And then we had Stacey Dash.
Oh, she should have been gone.
Yeah, she's out. Because you know what? You know, this is the thing that's happening. Every time they do something wrong or the other side don't like them, what do? They
send them back, yeah.
Yeah, and then they want us, oh, please forgive us. I'm telling you, at this stage of the game, there ain't no forgiveness.
Yeah, they got to stay in the doghouse outside.
And forever. It's just the way things are. That's the problem. I tell you, you got to know who your friends or foe are. The other one was 50 Cent.
We can keep him.
Actually, he was put on the other side.
Hold on, how? How so?
Well, 50 Cent is kind of a coon-tastic ass dude. He only talks about black people. And in addition to only talking about black people, he only talks about women as well. He don't never do anything about white folks. Ever.
But a lot of us talk trash about other Negroes.
Yeah, but all of us, we also talk stuff about other people as well. This guy specifically focused only on black people. And you also
I'm gonna
forgetting,
have to. I'm gonna personally. I'm gonna vouch, and we gonna keep 50 Cent personally. We got to keep
and,
him because at least his roasts are funny. So that's why we'll keep him. If they was bad roasting, he would have to go. But I like him because it's always a good roast.
so because it's funny, we're gonna keep 50 Cent.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, technically you're still outvoted. It's like 3 against 1, but we'll put you down there. 50 Cent stays for you.
Absolutely.
And the other one was Nicki Minaj. And as you know, Nicki Minaj is also a Trump supporter as well, as along with 50 Cent. Nicki Minaj on our end is done for us.
I don't believe that Nicki Minaj is truly a Trump supporter. I believe that Nicki Minaj is owned by somebody and she has to do what they say. And so by default, she can go because of that.
And you know, it's not just because of Nicki Minaj doing that, but it's also because this girl has been known to talk shit about a lot of people. You remember that whole incident that happened with what's that Miley Cyrus girl?
Yeah.
And that whole incident, she was up in her face. Then she got into it with Little Kim. Then she got into it with Megan Thee Stallion. Then she gets into it with everybody. And eventually people start to look at you like, okay, listen, you got into fights with Jesus Christ as well. Come on now. You get into fights with everybody. And it's like she don't care. And then the whole MAGA thing happened. It was just like, and it's not just the MAGA thing. It's also the issue with, and Nicki explained that either her father and her brother sexual assaults and pedos. You know, one's the sexual assault, one's the pedo. But regardless of how it happened between the two, she is wrapped up with these guys.
Oh, hold on. Somebody told me I got to leave my black card. You cannot take my black card from me. I am the blackest you will ever meet. And it's not empathy. It's just common sense. You know, what I kept 50, I got, you know, we going to send the other 3 of them to your house.
Well, you know, the thing is, you know, people, you know, 50 Cent is also a Trump supporter. You know, the thing is, once you, I can see what they're saying. Once you're on that side, you're done. Because
well, can we be honest though? I mean, if we really want to be honest, and I know people are going to disagree when I say this, the reason why the media has such a problem with Donald Trump is because he has the same appeal to black men as Obama does, and that's hard to hear, but he does. And there are a lot of people that we know who voted for Trump, but they won't admit it because, you know, the world is not a safe space to be open about, you know, why somebody would do something like that. So I'm just putting that out there.
You know what? I would say this. If you know, because people keep track of all stuff. You know, those data centers got everything.
Yeah.
Even the voting, they know who voted, those voter rolls. They know who votes. They track your emails. They track your text messages. They track your phone calls. Eventually, stuff comes out about them. You know, and once it's found out, I'm telling you, on my end, I find out somebody was a Trump supporter, but they acting like they pro-black, baby. I'm the first to send your ass to a concentration camp. I don't give a shit. Your ass voted for it. Your ass going to those camps.
I see. I disagree with that because I'm very much kind of an apolitical person. You know, I look at the problem because all of it is a system. You know, it's both Democrats and Republicans are both giving our ass poison, but it's, you know, one poison is just straight up poison and gas, and the rest of it is just sugar sprinkled on it. And so as they affect people, and you know, I'm not gonna lie, like, you know, sometimes I do sit out of elections and things like that because I'm just more concerned about, you know, how the people navigate. And yeah, it's just very complicated.
No, I see. And what we're going to do is we have a new round of 3 people that we're going to try to keep. Now, this is on the white side. Keep R, send them to the other side. The first one is Robin Thicke.
He can go.
Why is that?
I don't like, The only white man that I like who sings R&B is Michael McDonald.
Okay. So you say out. You know what? After you know what? Robin Thicke has sung like R&B and stuff, but the problem is we have so many goddamn culture vultures in
Yeah.
R&B and hip hop. It's funny how these white people don't like us. I be sitting here like y'all can't even stand us, but y'all hippity hop y'all asses right over here. Y'all singing R&B, y'all singing hip hop, y'all wearing your hair like us, y'all doing our AAVE. It's just like Jesus Christ. I said for y'all not to like somebody, y'all sure do be using all of our shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why I kind of give him a side eye. So for me, I'm undecided on him. But since you stated Robin Thicke's out, and when Nicki and Trey and whoever else we have on the show come back, they'll do their votes. But right now, I was undecided, so he's out. The next one is Mario Lopez. For me, he gone.
He can go.
He done. This is what gets me. He had sent out a message on social media the other day, and he was like, "Oh, he support all immigrants." Mario, ICE can come to your house and pack you and your whole motherfucking family up. I don't give a rat's ass how you feel about it. You got to go. One thing I don't like is a two-faced ass person.
Yeah.
You sat here, you supported Trump, you talked about immigrants, and you're forgetting his family. His family is immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, his goofy ass becomes successful, and then he sits. It's this thing called pulling the ladder up. He pulls the ladder up so other people can't come over here. I don't like that shit. I'm like, when you do something like that, when your family came over here and y'all was fleeing Mexico or wherever you was fleeing from, now you want to pull the ladder up, calling them, illegals and drug dealers when people was calling you the same thing. I'm good on him. For me, he can go.
He can go.
Yeah, so Mario, you out. And then the last one, Eminem.
Eminem can stay.
I say so too.
He can stay. Cornbread can stay.
I say that too. What is your reason for Eminem staying?
Eminem, I guess he just did something bad in his last life, because I think Eminem is a black man, but he got punished. He came back in a white man's body, so he can stay. And now I have empathy for that. Somebody said I have empathy for Eminem.
Okay, I'll give you that. And also, before we do this, we are going to run into some of the comments here. Let's see here. Jamie Mason says Mario is just like the rest of those anti-black Latinos. He is. That's what I call them off-whites. Mm-hmm. Off-whites or WW wannabe whites, and that's why I don't fuck with them. I said because me growing up dealing with raised by white folks and dealing with them as well. I said once they get upset, once they get scared, the first person they're gonna look at is you Asians and you Latins and you coon blacks and y'all the first pickings. I said people don't read the old books that was written about like slavery and stuff like that and how they caught slaves and stuff. They will see people that they know were good people, but because they gotta blame somebody else, they're like, oh, he did it, and this person will be tortured to death in front of the entire town. They wrote books on this. They got photographs of this stuff. You can, if you go on Google and look at the slave images, you can see the torture they put on these people. And so for me, I'm just like, hey, I'm good on them. And one thing I tell people to not do is once you see their asses getting tortured or killed, don't go over there talking about praise Jesus and save them. Hey, these people made their decisions. Y'all got to let people make their decisions. That's the problem. We got to keep, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus over there somewhere.
Oh, don't get me started on religion.
we was talking about that yesterday about religion, and we was just like, you know what? Seeing how not just that I was watching CNN and Trump. I guess Trump and some of the commanders told some of the military people that Jesus is telling them that this is a just war and everything. I said, you know what? All this religion talk and stuff, they can take that, all the Republicans, all the people that believe in it, Netanyahu, put your ass, that show, not show, but movies, The Hunger Games?
Yes.
Put all y'all asses in the dome and let y'all fight it out and leave the rest of us alone. If y'all want to have the end of times, y'all could go in the dome, drop an atomic bomb on y'all and be good. and leave us alone. That's the problem. They want to affect everybody else. We don't. Why don't y'all have your own religious war between y'all?
Well, that's because everybody else is in the game, and we need to participate in order for the game to work.
I'm not trying to participate in none of that shit. I'd rather just be done with it. Just put them in the dome, send them away, and be done with it. You know what I mean? It's just like, why do you have to affect other people for this? It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I don't. I say I'm a spiritual person. I do believe in a higher power. Things are a little too perfect. You could kind of tell that there's something there, but at the same time, one thing I noticed about religion, and I don't even know if people read the Talmud. You know, the Jewish. Yes,
yeah.
With the Talmud, I said, have y'all read that shit? That shit is crazy. Talking about they're allowed to have sex with underage children and stuff. I said, so this is what they're reading and this is what they're teaching other kids. I said, when you start to see why they're like this and why they had no empathy for people in Palestine and why they in Lebanon right now. I don't know if people paying attention. I said, what the hell did Lebanon have to do with anything? They sent bombs and blew up stuff over there. So it's just like, this is what we have going on at the current time. What was that? But this is what we have going on at the current time. And I'm just like, I'm to the point, I'm just over it. And what we're going to do is, forgot, I could read some more comments here. DDS says, we can keep Rabbit. And she says, Eminem was really the only keep out of the six.
Eminem and 50 Cent, yes.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with that.
Hold on, whose comment was that?
That was TGD.
TGD agrees that we keep both 50 Cent and Eminem. I'm just putting words in their mouth. I'm playing.
No, 50 Cent is out for me. I dealt with like people like him before in Kansas, and he just looked like this. He will coon out for a check. I don't like. I can't hang out with people like that.
I like 50 Cent. I'm gonna have to stand by that one because I like 50 Cent. I like him. I think he's cool.
See, this is why I'm glad you're on the show. Your opinion as a Black person is very different from the other co-hosts, so we get to get more of a different perspective. I remember he was on the show the last time. I was just like, Lord Jesus, it was just. But it's good because people get tired of like, there's people that have different opinions.
Absolutely.
And you want to make sure to get those opinions out. And so as you get those opinions out, people get to talk and have more of a conversation. And, I think that was pretty good for us.
It is good, because Black people, we don't all think the same. And, I think that a lot of us are afraid of judgment that we might get for offering a perspective, especially if you were somebody who's a very in-depth thinker. I'm a very in-depth thinker of things. And I also don't mind playing the devil's advocate. And so, we can't all be shaking our fists at the sky all the time.
Yeah, that is true. And what we're going to do is we're going into our white segment. We got a few videos to go through.
Oh, somebody called me sick. Somebody said I'm a sick man. I'm not a sick man.
Oh, God. What is the comment section? Oh, snap.
What did they say? I don't know. I saw HHC7 said you and 50 can get gone. Sick men support something. The comment disappeared, but I will agree with you. I'm not sick, but I am abusive, so I can agree with you on that.
Oh my God! No, you go. Our viewers, they're very vocal as well. And you know what, viewers as well. What I want to do is also, if you would like to join, I'm going to put this in the comment section. You can log in if you want to talk to us. Well, we can only allow up to 2 people because of the way the screens work. So just make sure, if you're the first 2, that's only 2 we can get in. If somebody goes out and comes back in, then we can go ahead and get you into the show. So just want to let you know about that. We are going to go into our white segment. There's a lot of stuff that's going on with the white folks.
And so we about white people.
And we want to show you this, and we will be right back. Stay tuned.
The mayor of DeRidder, Louisiana, being convicted of sexually abusing her 16-year-old son's best friend after being caught in the act by a group of teenagers, 2 of which were her own kids. And then, out of embarrassment for what she had done, she tells her son to beat up the victim to shift blame off herself. It doesn't get trashier than this woman. Meet 43-year-old, now former mayor, Misty Roberts, who back in July of 2024 let her 16-year-old son throw a pool party at their house. Misty and her best friend, who also had a 16-year-old son at the party, provided alcohol for all the kids, some of which, including Misty's own daughter, were just 13 years of age. Mayor Misty, who her best friend said was the drunkest I had ever seen her, was flirting all night with her son's best friend, who was also just 16 years old. The two started kissing in front of everybody and then went into a bedroom where Misty's 16-year-old son, 13-year-old daughter, her nephew, and a few other teenage friends watched Misty sexually assault the boy. By the next day, the victim's mother had found out what had happened and texted Misty asking her if there was a possibility of pregnancy. Misty said no, that she was on birth control, but then DoorDashed Plan B just in case. Not the mayor of DeRidder, Louisiana being convicted.
And we're going to show this one. This was actually on, this is on the beach. And these are white young adults in their 20s. And this is what they think about what's everything that's going on. Take a look.
Issue facing America is the most important to you?
What bikini I'm gonna wear next? Obesity is terrible.
Ice. Not personally. I'm legal.
Getting a tan on the beach. That's the most important thing in my life right now.
I'm thinking about Starbucks, to be honest. I'm thinking about Starbucks, what I'm gonna get for today.
The elevators don't work. You got 43 floors. The elevators don't work.
I could take this little glass of water, drop it in the magnets. That's the end of the elevator.
What have you heard that Donald Trump has been doing recently?
Gulf of America. That's the last thing I kept up with.
We're going to war with Iraq. That's been crazy.
What do you do in Colombia? You got Maduro out? I don't with Trump, but that done.
He's like trying to sue those people for making jokes about him.
600 times!
You must be happy.
I'm very happy.
The Ayatollah's dead.
What? Who? What? What is that?
Who the is Ayatollah?
I have never heard that word in my life.
Lewis, what's Ayatollah?
I haven't heard. I found out about Chuck Norris yesterday. That was more devastating to me.
He was the supreme leader of Iran. He's dead? We killed him.
You did? You killed him?
Johnny!
Whoa! If you were in charge, how would you take on Iran?
Yeah, all my girls and we would all start putting belts on them.
We get a bunch of girls in bikinis, we make them run across the battlefield. All the guys are distracted, we all run in.
Look at him in his eyes, I guess. Flirt with him.
I'd blow them up.
I don't know enough about it, but I would probably wipe it out.
Drop a bomb, baby. Bomb the out of him.
I would bomb the out of him.
All right, just read. I'm gonna read one of the comments. Somebody says, "Sorry guys, I'm not on board with they're just kids. There are grown adults who are active voters. They're influenced by their favorite celebrity or podcaster to vote a certain way. They have all the information right at their fingertips. Sure, I was at their age 15 years ago, but I wasn't ignorant of my surroundings. That's when smartphones and social media really began to take off. And not just college kids. You know how many grown-ass adults are just like them? The behavior can't be excused in a time like this." And I agree with that. And then this lady right here, this was also, I like his content, but this girl sitting here clapping that the end times, this is why I said, hey, just put all the asses in the dome. Y'all want the end time so much, put all you religious fanatics in the dome, and y'all can just blow yourselves up. I could give a rat's ass. Leave the rest of us alone. Take a look.
The worst part about that video is that it's not just these fringe Christian influencers that think that, it's how people within the US war machine are talking about policy right now. Since Operation Epic Fury, which are those strikes in Iran, the Military Religious Freedom Foundation has received over 200 complaints from troops across 50 installations from every single branch of the military. And remember, those are just the whistleblowers that came forward. They tell stories like that of one combat unit commander who told his officers point blank that Trump has been anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon. And in case anyone doesn't know, that's basically the end of the world as we know it. And additionally, for these types of Christians who think that they will be saved, that's not a grim thing at all. It's euphoric. And this is not even to mock anyone who might believe that. I mean, for centuries, Christian theologists have predicted the end of the world, attached biblical prophecy to modern events, and try to prepare their followers for it. But this is an indictment on the actions of accelerationists, or people who in this case believe that you can speed up the apocalypse through violence or geopolitical catastrophe. Because people at the highest levels of our government who see this as a predestined holy war are just using that confirmation bias to make things so much worse. With that mindset, footage from a bomb school or a classroom full of dead schoolgirls isn't exactly a tragedy. Any sort of resulting escalation is just proof that things are cosmically headed in the right direction. And that's why conversations that talk about this war in the context of oil, shipping lanes, deterrence, even nuclear weapons are going to be incomplete. Because many Republican politicians in a huge number of their constituents are drunk on the fantasy that this is a holy war and that the worse things get, the sooner the end times will come. But that's all I could fit in this video.
So, you know, this is my thing. They keep calling themselves a superior race. And none of the illiterate asses on that beach knew anything that's going on. And these are people that vote. These are people that say they're better than
nobody on that beach votes.
I said, are you serious? I mean, like, that's how illiterate Americans are. And in addition to that, now I see why when they go overseas, people have problems with them because they don't listen. They don't have common sense. They would tell you, I will never forget, and this is when I went to the cenotes in Mexico and Tulum, and they literally told people, hey, make sure not to touch like the rock sediments or something because you could put bacteria on it. Just stay in the water. What did the white folks do? Oh, we're going to touch it.
They was touching it anyway.
And I'm just sitting here like, are y'all hard-headed? Are you're not hearing this correctly? Are you slow? And it's like, this is what we're up against right now. And this was what's really funny about this is that when it comes to MAGA, we was telling y'all to sign up. I don't hear nobody on MAGA talking all that shit like they was. Yeah, we're gonna protect America. I ain't heard Jim Bob's fat ass or nothing say anything. Zero. I don't see those social media accounts publicized. Nothing. This is why I said white folks talk a good game when they feel like they can take people, but when it comes to a real war and what's really going on, silence. What do you think?
You know, I do have my issues with white people, but I also believe that the media projects images that they want us to get upset about. And it's a lot more triggering to show a bunch of people who are on the beach who, it doesn't matter who's in office, they would be clueless anyway. So, I mean, they can show that, but I can assure you there were probably just as many people out there on that beach who had solid opinions, whether you agreed or disagreed, and weren't just clueless. And so we have to be careful with that in media, because the media is all about creating outrage, you know, and so you're going to be a lot more outraged about that versus if they went out there and there was a more constructive conversation about what political views that we have. And I think that, you know, knowing that more of us should challenge ourselves to be able to understand that people are going to see the world differently, to engage in a civilized conversation about that. You know, are there some fucked up people out here? Sure, there's some fucked up, racist, horrible people out here, but there are also some people who want the same things that we want. And, you know, just because we see the world in a different way does not mean, you know, anybody's horrible. And so we should learn to make that distinction.
Oh, you singing "We Are the World"? Oh, Samson.
It's not about singing "We Are the World." It is because so many people let the media distort their worldview, and we're smarter than that. Come on now.
I don't know if we're actually smarter than that. I
hope we are.
But there's, you know what? There's some, like, we play videos on this show all the time, and there'd be some illiterate ass people answering stupid ass questions, and they just answer it and I'd be like, did they just answer that way? And
but I mean, it's no different than if you went down to, you know, downtown some black city, and you know, we say some crazy stuff too. So I mean, it's no different, except for I think we're judging them a bit more harshly because they're white. And again, do white people do some crazy stuff? They absolutely do. I got a list, but you know, I'm just very, very, I'm very wary of of being triggered by things like that. Okay, now they in the comments calling me Stephen A. Smith. That's fine.
Oh shit. Well, I'll say this. And you came on the show before, and they was like that in the comments the last time.
I'm not worried about
it. It is what it is.
I'm not worried about people. When you meet me or you spend time with me or whatever, you have no choice but to absolutely love me. And so I don't care whether you disagree with what I got to say, because I know I'm right and you're wrong. That's why you're in the comments talking trash.
Oh my God. It's right because if Nicki was on this show today,
yeah,
it would have been. She is very viewer eccentric. She's like, oh, viewers. I'm more just broad. I'll speak about everything. As the moderator, I have to be that way. But it's good to have like another opinion, because that is true. All Black people don't think the same.
We don't all think the same, and I am from Washington, D.C. When I was growing up, the city was 78% Black. I did not know white people existed until I turned about 6 years old. And I am the most pro-Black, militant, all those things. But at the same time, in navigating this life that we have in front of us, it does require us to challenge our thinking. And, if you listen to the things that I'm saying, with the exception of a few, we need to break our feet off in some people's asses, I'm saying the same thing that Malcolm X used to say. So,
yeah, and that's why I tell people it's good to see like what other Black people are thinking and what's really going on, because I know that you travel a lot to a lot of these spaces, and I've been to some of the parties with you, and the people there think a little bit differently. They're in close proximity to other races of people, other religions, etc., and so they see things a little different. And there are good people in all things. I broke it down based off percentages, like the vote that happened in Texas, and then the vote that happened with like Kamala Harris. I tell people that's statistics. These people continue to vote. This is what gets me about the whole thing with that. Latins are continuing to vote for their own oppression, and then bitching about being dragged out of the airport. For the life of me, I'm not understanding that. It don't make sense to me. I look at them, I'm like, the white folks don't like your ass. They don't want you here. They don't want you speaking Spanish. They want you can fix a burrito for them. You can clean their toilet. But once they're done you're done being useful, just how they treat the slaves, you're done. It was just like with the slaves. We had what, 10, 15 fucking jobs staying on the plantation. All of a sudden we don't want to work for free no more and getting beaten and raped. And all of a sudden we lazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, we demand the money. That's why.
See, here's the thing with that is people don't understand that America's sort of blueprint is built off of slavery, right? And so, whereas slavery was first intended here for Blacks and poor whites, they recognized that not only did slavery need to change, because there was like this whole revolution of how we worked in that sort of thing, but it expanded so that everybody could become slaves. And so where back then it was slaves in the field picking cotton, now there's digital slavery, and all of us are involved in that. And so people just need to be aware that slavery has expanded here in America, and it involves everybody, and it really is a system that affects everybody. And so it doesn't matter where you come from or what you look like, you need to figure out where you fit into this system that's happening around us.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. And I want to read some of the comments before we go on to the next topic. This is from Jamie Mason. She said he was serious about liking 50. I thought he was playing. Samson ain't playing. Samson. One thing I know about Samson, if he likes somebody and that's who it is, he ain't changing his mind unless like something drastic happened.
I'm always open to change it, because we don't know shit. None of us, we don't know shit. But at the same time, I think we're, especially in this age of social media where there's this black and white thing happening, If you have an opinion about something, you need to be able to stand on it, and I think that's why people trust me, is because if I say something, I'm going to stand on it, and I'm not lying to you. And so should you be open to changing your opinion or perspective? Absolutely. But if you have an opinion, that is your opinion, and don't let people bully you into a different opinion.
I agree with that, because that's the thing. It's like people, it's just like with religion. We talk about this a lot on this show. It's just like when you don't agree with somebody in the church, they get, the devil in it. I said, you sit here and you talk down to other people.
Yeah.
You have a bad attitude. You say all types of things to them. I said, this is the things that actually happens when we say something to you guys about your, religion or whatever. Y'all sit here and y'all get upset at us. And I said, we should be able to have an opinion. It's like, you can't question religion. You can't question it. I said, why would you not question it? I said, they took so many books out of the Bible. Why would I not question religion?
Yeah.
I said, even if you look at I don't know if people read it, the Book of Enoch, great book. Cool. I said, and first of all, the Book of Jubilee. The Book of Jubilee is actually one of the first books in the Bible. It talks about everything that happened before the floods and all that stuff. This is nothing new. So I want to know what you thought about that.
Well, my favorite gospel is the Gospel of Thomas, and what people should be open to understanding is a lot of these books were taken out of the Bible because they taught the real element of spirituality, which is God is in you. And so if God is in you and you're connecting to that, you don't need the middleman. You don't need to go down there and get a pass through your light bill money, because you understand that God is in you. And so it's really important for us to be in spaces where we can connect, with spiritually like-minded people and that sort of thing. But again, and this is a problem that I have with Christians, is that many Christians are so heavily bound that they're no earthly good. They ignore science, they ignore biology, they ignore common sense. And for somebody, I saw it on Twitter, and I think people have copied and pasted this a bunch of different times, so I don't know who it comes from. But it said, the minute you get rid of religion, the devil leaves you alone. And it's because, if things are happening in your life, you don't learn to go inside of yourself and take accountability for it, because you got the devil to blame it on. You don't know how to have empathy for other people, because if it's something outside of this limited scope of what humans should be, you don't know how to go, oh, God made those people too. People exist in this sort of way. And so, that's my problem with religion and Christianity. And they also will look at things that other people are doing and say, oh, but you're shoving that down my throat. And it's there is nobody there. Two things. Number one, there is nobody more elitist than an American Christian. And then number two, there's another expression that we've been hearing a lot, which is, there is no greater hate than Christian love.
That's facts. That's facts. Because it's like, it's this holier than thou. You can't say shit to them. I spoke about this before, and this was me explaining like what bothers me about church people now. You know what it is when people get older. They get older, they start, titties start sagging, ass start sagging, balls hanging, they ain't looking too good, got a gut. And so they're trying to tell people that's young, that looks good, oh, you don't be doing that, or you fast. But then you start to hear around the church, or you start to hear around family talk, oh,
that was a hoe.
Yeah, you used to suck dick behind the church like it was no tomorrow. Or the pastor, he used to be a pimp, and he was fuck. It's like everybody changed their worldview when they're not hot.
After they live their life.
After they live their life. And that's what bothers me about a lot of the church. It's just like, I don't, like, clear example, you can give the kids advice. Hey, I know you out here sleeping around. Put a condom on.
That's right.
Or take PrEP or Doxy PrEP or something to make sure you don't get nothing.
Rather than look at the STD rate or the AIDS rate or whatever and go, oh yeah, that's God's punishment, because there's nothing holy or loving about that sort of approach to real life. And that's what people should understand. Religion teaches you to hate yourself.
And you know what?
And so
Speaking of that, what I want to do is I want to show you.
And another thing too, because I see people get mad in the comments about what I'm saying. This is something else for you to chew on tonight on the way to bed. Jesus is not coming back. And he said it himself. I'm not coming back. Save your own ass. That's what he said. Go read it for yourself.
There's a lot of things that's why I said I think it's the Ethiopian Bible. It's the only one where all the books are in there. And when you start to read those books, you like these books, it tells you why things happen in certain places. And also a lot of the words was changed up too. To find out that the original word, they changed it from, I forgot the word. It was referring pedophilia.
Yeah.
How they were taking advantage of the children and pedophilia. And we're kind of seeing the whole thing with the Epstein file and the Jews and all that stuff and all this stuff going on. They changed it from that to homosexual. It's easier to sit there and talk bad about homosexuals instead of talking bad about that.
They didn't put that. They didn't put that in the Bible until the 1940s. There was no word in the Bible for that to the 1940s. And if you really want something to chew on about the Bible, how can something that was recorded in the Middle East, how can you have men who lived in the Middle East have names like Peter, Luke, John?
Yes. I wondered that too. I wondered
all
that
these
too.
white American names.
I wondered that too. And then even if you listen to Jesus, it's hair of wool, feet of bronze. And I said, that don't look like no motherfucking white boy to me.
And so and that's how he's described there. And so how do we get now a picture of a blonde hair, blue eyed that was in all of our grandmama's houses? And so if that has been distorted like that, just that small, clear example, imagine all the other ways that religion has been distorted. And basically, again, what it teaches people is to hate themselves and hate each other. And if you hate yourself, you are separating yourself from the divinity of God, which is all rooted in love and acceptance. And so, you can't truly love and have faith in something that you have fear of, because that's not love. You aren't loving God because you love God. You're loving God because you're bound to that entity by fear. And that's not faith. Faith and fear can't coexist.
Yeah, and I want to play this video since we're talking about religion. We jumped it over here, so I said let's go ahead and talk about this. That's why I always have videos up. I want to show you guys this, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Watch this. In honor of me saying Christianity never worked on me because I would never worship a man, and 200,000 of y'all was like, hell yeah, me too. Here's some more reasons why Christianity never worked on me. For starters, you don't get to say money is the root of all evil and then beg for it in church. And that was the very first discrepancy that caught my eye, because somebody lying. How you gonna say it's the root of evil and y'all ask for it? Which one is it? Also, where is he when innocent children are getting abused, tortured, eaten? Hello? What the fuck I'm worshiping somebody for and he can't even help innocent children? Also, where was he during slavery? And if both the slave masters and the slaves was praying, who prayers was he answering?
That's right.
And let's not forget the misogyny that breeds and thrives in Christianity. Also, the simple fact that they have to brainwash people into following that shit, and the fact that they start that brainwashing when people are kids and they're most vulnerable and most influential, they know what the fuck they're doing. And that they don't want you to question anything, they just want you to blindly follow it. And they have to threaten people with hell for them to continue to follow it. And that's just scratching the surface. That's a very short list of reasons. If y'all want to know more and I need to make another part, let me know and I will. But just all around, if you look.
Someone reads some of the comments. Somebody says religion is a cult. Another person says it's a scheme set up by men to control people.
Absolutely.
Another person said the people who built their heaven on earth told you that yours is in the sky. You know what? There was two things that resonated with me where she said, how can you be begging for money in church, which we see so many, they pass that goddamn collection plate around so many
20 times.
I'd be like, Jesus Christ.
The building fund, the cook fund, the pastor need a new doorknob fund.
And that fund's still going on after 30 plus years. And I'm sitting here like, y'all still ain't got this shit together yet. But she said, how can you do that? And it's the root of all evil. And then the other thing was, she was like, well, where was God when the slaves is praying and when the whites were praying? Whose prayers was he answering? That one resonated with me the most. Because I'm sitting here like, if you really pay attention, and people, you know, we got to have conversations like this. You can't get upset. Well, I don't want to listen to your opinion, but it is what it is at this point.
It is what it is.
Have to make sense. If you listen to, not just listen, but if you also read the stories that was written from white folks about slavery, they got books on nigger soup. They got books on how to skin black people. They got how you catch alligators and you feed the black babies to the alligators. There was also this game where they will have the woman, the black woman, she would have the baby. They would snatch the baby from her with the umbilical cord and everything. They would bury the baby, and then they would kick the baby's head until it falls off. Then they would sit there and they will tell her to cook the baby's head so the master can eat it. This is shit that was written by white folks. These are
and that's not even everything.
And that's a small fraction of that stuff. It's like when you look at what happened to Tulsa, Oklahoma, with Black Wall Street and Rosewood and Seneca Village and the Red Summer. I said this is a practice. This is a demonic religious practice that these white folks did, and it was not just a demonic religious practice. I said these fuckers would come straight out of church. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord, and then drag a black person and hang his ass.
Yep.
Skin him, chop his dick off, put it in a jar, and they would sell the dick while the children are there, ages 5 and 6 and 7.
And you know they would take them dicks back to the house and play with them and suck all on them and put them up their ass and all kind of stuff. There is an obsession with the black penis and the black pussy.
It is. It gets to a point because, you know, out here in LA, they don't like hanging around blacks, but they like the sexuality of blacks. It's like they want to hang out with the group. Oh, you know, I'm with this crew or whatever, but they don't want you around unless it's something sexual. And I'll be sitting there looking at them like, but y'all, like one time I was going to an event. It was actually a birthday party, I believe. It was somebody's birthday party, and the bouncers outside. When I tell you that the people in the line was dressed horribly. I mean, like flip-flops and shit. And when I tell you they was in there bumping hip hop, like it was no tomorrow, but they were sitting there over policing black people to get into the club who was nicely dressed. And I looked at my friend, I said, why are we at this fucking club? I said, they in there playing our shit, but they sitting here out here overly frisking black people. I said, y'all can keep this shit. I said, the people in the line is whack and this fucking club is whack. But that's what I be telling people. I said, this is what we go through. It is unfortunate. And what I also want to do is I want to go into, I know that everybody's been hearing about the TSA lines. So I want to show you guys what's actually going on. This is something that's happening right now. Now there's different videos from like Atlanta, Houston, and etc. And so I want to have you guys take a look at these and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Put your clothes back on, sir. Yeah. What the hell? Got his hands up. Big goofy ass. What are you doing?
And somebody says, I'm not going to lie, he probably had to go through more than twice, and I second him, but I get placed on the registry because I'm not privileged. And then this next video, this guy pretty much explains, because these white folks, they get it too. They ask him why is ICE at all these airports. Let's make it make sense. Take a look.
Say what you just said again.
I do not understand why we need ICE at airports. If their stated purpose is to deport the undocumented, who have you ever met that has flown without documentation?
It's a really good point. We looked it up. I looked it up. I was like, wait, and it said that you could do it with like a consular ID.
Oh yeah, all those undocumented consulates that are coming from overseas. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Right. You're here undocumented, and then you go to get your consular ID for
Absolutely.
So what they're pretty much saying is that, and we know at most airports, you can't really get through security without actually having an ID. So this new law that they're trying to pass, which has all that other bullshit in it, is bullshit. And this is at the Denver airport. Also, they said the lights went out. Take a look.
The main part of the terminal where the train is, the B. This is the back of the line to get down to the trains. They're saying it's going to take an hour just to get a train in the main terminal.
And then also Delta, they provided an update today. They said Delta is suspending its special service desks for members of Congress until TSA is fully funded. Also, Delta says members of Congress will now be treated like all other flying customers. I didn't even know they was getting special treatment. Another thing was the Senate has unanimously passed a bill to prohibit members of Congress from bypassing airport security screenings. The bill would also ban members of Congress from using federal funds to pay for expedited security screenings.
Oh my God. Okay. See, now this is some more BS like I'm talking about.
No, go ahead. Explain it.
Okay. So first of all, airports have always been crazy. But now there's a special focus on chaos at airports because, again, the media tells you what to look out for. And of course, the way the human mind works is whatever you start to look for, that's what you see more often. So, of course, now when people go to an airport where airports have always been crazy, you go to LAX, it's always crazy. You go to Atlanta, it's always crazy. You go to Denver Airport, it's always crazy. These airports are always crazy. So, of course, there's this special attention that's being placed on how that works. And then these other things that were never an issue, now they become an issue. So, again, this is just the media telling you, look for chaos. People just need to stay calm.
So
take some edibles and stay calm.
So do you believe that all these oil refineries being, bombed and et cetera, that's not going to affect travel?
That stuff happens all the time. It's just they're reporting it now more, but that stuff happens all the time. Just like, was that last year? You remember when they were reporting all those planes that were crashing?
Yes. And
then there was this report that came out that said actually the number of planes that were crashing were down. So, but they were reporting on the planes crashing, which made people think, oh my God, I can't get on the airplane. Mm-hmm. And so again, this stuff is there to trigger people. It's there to keep people anxious and crazy, and you can't get too caught up in it.
And the other question is, I know y'all probably been seeing this on social media, but ICE has been at almost all the airports. And so they did mention that as well. And my thing is, first of all, I think ICE is the most stupidest, laziest thing I've ever seen in my life. They are untrained. They don't help out the community. They don't do anything for the people. And so I want to know, what is your thoughts in regards to that? Because
hold on, and I want to say this. So, and people keep bringing up the fact that sometimes I sit out voting. Let me say this. Why would you keep supporting a system that don't help your black ass? The difference is there are people who go vote and they don't do shit else for the community. They don't support black businesses. They're not out in the community doing stuff with and for the community. It's people they go out and they go, oh, I vote. And these people, the only time they come talk to our black asses is when they come down to the church and talk that shit every 2 to 4 years. They never come out to community events unless it's something that publicizes them. They're never in the community. And I say this again, being from Washington, D.C., where we had Marion Barry, and that man did crack cocaine. Crack cocaine. He would come out there high, but he was in the streets with the people. And I saw a real mayor. We had Eleanor Holmes Norton, who was our representative. And I watched them. And this was this 80% black city. And growing up, I saw black wealth and black community and all that type of stuff happen. And so, of course, I'm going to have a higher standard than, listening to people that cut. It's just like being in a toxic relationship. The motherfucker don't take you out to dinner. He don't even bring you a sandwich from Subway over to your house where he go up in your ass. But he comes up in there do what he need to do, and then he won't answer your calls. You don't see him, and then he come back. Oh, hey baby, I miss you. That's what these politicians do when they come to the black church, sweet talking our asses, and we keep falling for it. So why would you keep supporting the system like that? That don't make sense.
You know, and that's why I told the people in the comments, come and speak about it, you know, live. I know that, you know, people have some opinions in regards to that, but
what did it say? Al just here 128 says, but taking edibles helps your black ass. How though? It helps me read comments from people like you. God, I bet you fun at parties.
I knew you were going to stir up a hornet's nest on this show.
No, but that's the problem is, and I love black people, but our problem is we talk shit, but what you gonna do about it? Like what and when the political system, it doesn't matter who has been in office, how has anything really changed for any of us? The shit is the same. Give me a white person that tells us to our face, I don't like black people, I don't give a fuck. I will take that over a white liberal who tells black people that we are incapable of overcoming adversity when we built the fucking country.
So it's like this pandering bullshit.
Yeah, give me go do it on your own before, oh, you know, we love black people and it's so sad what you all go through. No, I believe that black people, we have built this country. I believe that black people, we inspire everything culturally, globally, and we are strong people. You know, if we truly took the reins of who we are, we would benefit in so many wonderful ways, economically, you know, politically, socially. But we like being black people. We like to feel good. That's our problem. We want people to say some shit to make us feel good, and we don't need that. We don't need to feel good.
I think something is rubbing against your mic.
Probably my coat.
Okay, because it was like.
Yeah, that's my coat. I'm gonna show y'all some of this sexiness over here.
Oh. You're gonna piss them off and do something sexy for them.
and piss y'all off and turn y'all on.
Oh my God, I cannot with you. And we're going to be right back. We're going to go to our first commercial break, and we will see you in a few minutes. Stay tuned.
You said just comply, don't ask why. Follow orders, you'll be fine. Back the blues, the bats don't lie. Now ice killing white people and you want us to cry. Ice kicking in your door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was America ain't free no more. American born no longer applies. Same advice, motherfucker, comply or die. Fresh off the boat, motherfuckers with an attitude. No papers, no English, anti-black and rude. You POC, but you wanna be YT. Seat at the table, as an equal you'll never be. Came to this country off the civil rights side. Get your money up, then stab us in the back. You need us, gotta make it make sense. When it comes to the whites, y'all just niggas with accents. Let them know y'all just niggas with accents. Let them know y'all just niggas with accents. Let them know y'all just niggas with accents. I said what I said, lo dije y que I meant what I said, lo sostendré. I don't give a fuck how you feel, no me importa cómo te sientas. If you voted for Trump, rest in peace, paz en paz.
Hey, welcome back to For the People podcast. I'm your host, Vision X, and the show is for the people, by the people, to bring power back to the people, where we say everything raw, uncut, unfiltered, so that way you don't have to say it. I am joined by Samson McCormick, comedian. And we are going to jump right into our next segment. We got to do a quick laugh. I'll call this, what the hell is going on with people moment. And this is probably around 4 videos. Take a look at these videos. We'll be right back.
Who cares about the Epstein files? I trust Donald with my daughters, okay?
Well, I reckon you hate your damn daughters. Well, and your dentist, too.
Man, who cares?
Somebody says she looked like she brings possum stew to the potluck at the First Methodist Church. And then this is the hood. This lady went to the actual projects. Now, I went to Baltimore, Maryland. I've lived in the projects when I was young. I have never seen nothing like the Baltimore, Maryland projects. I've never seen that. I thought that was beyond third world. But let's take a look at this. We'll be right back.
I go to the worst of the worst apartments. Violence, trash, roaches, and struggle. This shit ain't for the weak. You might even see a fade or two. But this what I do. This ain't nothing new to me. Come with me to this apartment tour. I don't know what it's finna give, but we finna see. Upon my entry, this bag of trash had the whole doorway smelling like tossed that ass. The stairs is creaking and squealing, seem like they missing a layer. The living room don't look bad, look like it's been renovated, but I can confirm that the floors are thin. They definitely skipped a layer when they was laying the floors down. If I do just one jumping jack out this hole, I'm going through the floorboards. Bedroom seemed like it's in good condition. It was at this point I heard a bunch of yelling. I did observe that the sink was missing and a bunch of stuff on top of the stove, but I couldn't focus with all the commotion going on in the hallway. I heard somebody say, "What's up, bitch?" At that moment, I knew shit was about to go down. I stormed down them thin-ass stairs to get a front row seat. I was being pussy. I wanted to watch from inside, but I had to go out because of this stank-ass trash. During the initial square-up, I had to identify everyone. Here we have the police caller, and I don't know what the beef was, but it was these two versus these two. Within seconds, a hoe was getting wrung out like a wet rag. Hold on. Do y'all see that grip? Bitch got drugged from the rooter to the tutor. Getting in that field because they needed that. This shit give me a thrill. Here we have a nosy bystander. Look too hard, she might get the belt too. As we can see here, another punch is being thrown. If we look back at previous evidence, we could conclude that he's trying to get his lick back for getting tore in the stairwell. As I was leaving, I saw hella trash in the parking lot. I had to get the fuck on before 12 came. Make sure y'all go subscribe to my...
Somebody in the comments said the voiceover is better than the fight. And then I don't know what the hell this is. Just weird. People just doing weird shit. Take a look.
Oh, hell no.
I'm sitting here like, what in the hell? And then this also was making its rounds. Take a look.
No, ain't no. Let's go. Because you had your tail down there, identifying that.
Somebody says barked around and find out. And then somebody had got stuck on the elevator. Take a look.
This ain't even the flow. This motherfucker opened up on something else. We stuck. Somebody call somebody. Call 911 somebody. What the fuck wrong with her? Man, shut the fuck up. We gonna get out of here. We ain't been here 30 seconds. Huh? This motherfucker would not. Man, one of y'all hit that bitches.
So, it's just, I'm starting this new thing to where, like, right when we come back from commercial break, because a lot of our topics are heavy. So I start with like a little comedy thing. So I'm starting to do that now just to keep our spirits up, because we do be talking about a lot of heavy stuff. But that one where that man was in there rolling around like a dog, I was just like,
hold on. Have you ever been to Folsom Street Fair in San Francisco?
No, I've seen it.
Oh, let me tell you. So the stuff they do at Folsom Street Fair will make that little video we just watched. That'll make that look like Bible study.
Jesus.
They wild up there at Folsom Street Fair.
Wow. I've heard about it. I've heard they do everything out in the open. Everything. And it just be people just walking.
everything, just
Like,
walking
what's going on?
around. So first, it's legal to walk around naked on the street in San Francisco. You literally can come out of your house and walk down the street,
Really?
butterball naked. Yeah, in San Francisco. Because I lived in Oakland for 4 years, and so we would ride across the bridge in San Francisco, and I saw this old white. Because it's never people who look good naked walking around naked. It's always people who need to cover that all the way up. That's walking around outside naked, and I seen this old white man walking outside naked, and that's when I learned. In San Francisco, it's okay. It's legal to walk naked in San Francisco. Then Folsom Street Fair rolled around, and they had this thing called a piss pool. And so you can get in the pool and get peed on by random. I mean, it's crazy. Piss pool.
That's doing too much. And they wonder why we got COVID 59 and 68 out here running around this goddamn world getting everybody sick.
Because people are nasty.
I've heard about it. I've seen some video clips that people put online. I was like, I'm good.
And you know, the crazy thing is we share all these public spaces with people, and you don't know what their hygiene is. People in all kind of crazy stuff. And then they come down to the buffet where everybody eating at. You know, it's called a piss pool.
Yeah, they doing the absolute most. And what we're gonna do? Oh, let me see if there's any comments today.
Oh, and they play R. Kelly when people get peed. I'm just playing. No, they don't. No, they don't.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into our politics section. So I know that you guys know there was an update regarding the Doge thing that's happening, and then also this lady kind of broke down the history of Trump. I already knew that their family was a scam based off just past records, but she pretty much broke it down for us, and they both did a very good job. This one girl, her name is HR Honey. She actually works with Elijah, who's Stone Loki, who's one of our guys that's on the show. And so I want to show you guys these two videos so that way you can kind of see what's currently going on, and we will be right back. Stay tuned.
Did you ever ask Anthony Armstrong, your friend's dad, the former global head of M&A at Morgan Stanley, the one who Elon Musk recently appointed as CFO at XAI, who recruited you into your job at Doge, why he didn't give the job to his son instead? Did he also help you get your first internship at Morgan Stanley? You got the job as a student whose degree was in commerce over, I'm assuming, students who had degrees in accounting and finance. You know, like you claim to have on LinkedIn, which I assume is a lie because you did confirm under oath that your degree was in commerce and you didn't have any others. Did you lie about your degree on your resume too? Like on the one that you used to get your job at Doge, where you put $100 million of grant funding? Oh wait, for this job, you didn't need a resume, did you? You got it because Anthony, your buddy's dad, put you in a group text on Signal. And despite not having experience, no interview, no qualifications, no expertise in the field, you got the job just handed to you by Anthony. You never thought that this was going to come out, did you, Justin? You were so concerned about government funding benefiting certain groups of people, yet it seems like every single position that you've gotten over people who are far more experienced, skilled, and competent than you. And the best that you can do with $100 million of authority that affects people's lives and society was to ask ChatGPT a third grade level prompt. Justin, I'm going to give you some advice that you don't deserve. Don't forget that one day you might need DEI. For example, if somebody was to look at you and think that you have a cognitive impairment because you can't seem to answer basic elementary level questions, someone like HR could fire you because they perceive that you have a disability, whether you do or not. If we don't have DEI. And technically it's illegal to fire someone right now because they have a disability or a perceived disability or for any other discriminatory reason. But there is so little enforcement of it, and it is continuously getting defunded and deregulated. And powerful people are working to get more and more rights taken away. Like Anthony. Hi, Anthony. I figured out who your son is, and we'll get into that next. Hi, Justin.
She don't be playing no games at all. And then I like her as well. She broke down updates regarding Trump's family. So you're going to see all it going all the way back. Take a look. We'll be right back.
Donald Trump has spent years telling us who belongs in this country and who doesn't. So let's talk about his family, shall we? Trump's grandfather was born Friedrich Trump in 1869 in Bavaria. Germany had mandatory military service. Friedrich was required to serve. Instead, he chose to escape the country altogether. He was 16. He bought a one-way ticket, boarded a ship, and sailed to America. Without completing his military service, without officially registering his departure, without doing a single thing he was legally required to do before leaving. He just left, and this country welcomed him anyway. Eventually, he made his way to the Pacific Northwest. Then he followed the gold rush into Canada. During the Klondike Gold Rush, he moved to Yukon and made his fortune operating a restaurant and brothel for miners in Whitehorse. This is not an interpretation. A contemporary Yukon newspaper reported on it directly. The rooms had weighing scales in them, so miners could pay in gold dust for rendered services. The bulk of the cash flow came from the sale of liquor and sex, and that money got passed down. That is the foundation. That is his foundation. So when Friedrich had enough, he packed up his stuff and went back to Germany, got married, and tried to reclaim German citizenship and settle back home. Germany, however, said no. A local council letter from 1905 informed Friedrich that his citizenship would not be reinstated, and that he had 8 weeks to leave the country or be deported. The official reason? He had illegally left Germany to avoid military service 20 years earlier, and never bothered to officially unregister from his hometown. Germany deported him for being a draft dodger. Now, here's where history hands us something extraordinary. Friedrich Trump did not go quietly. This man wrote a letter to the Prince Regent of Bavaria, begging, and I mean begging, not to be sent away. He wrote, "We were confronted all at once, as if by lightning strike from fair skies, with news that the High State Royal Ministry has decided that we must leave our residence in the Kingdom of Bavaria. We were paralyzed with fright. Our happy family life was tarnished. My wife has been overcome by anxiety, and my lovely child has become sick. Why should we be deported? This is very, very hard for a family." And the prince rejected him. Friedrich left Germany on July 1st, 1905. His wife, 3 months pregnant with Donald Trump's father, Fred. That letter sat in a German archive for over 100 years. A historian found it in 2016. The Associated Press confirmed it. Harper's Magazine published a full translation. It's real, it exists. You can read it. Friedrich Trump, illegal immigrant, draft dodger, brothel operator, deportee, wrote a letter that said the deportation was cruel and unjust, and very, very hard for a family. His grandson has deported parents in front of their children, has signed orders removing people who had lived here for decades. He's called immigrants criminals. He's called them an infestation. The German historian who found the deportation document put it simply. Trump talks against illegal immigration, so I think he should remember his own family story from time to time. And here's the final thing that I need you to sit with. If the Prince of Bavaria had said yes, if they had let Friedrich stay, Donald Trump would not exist. Not here, anyway. He's here because a deportee begged for mercy and got on a ship. He's here because this country let in an illegal immigrant who had broken the law, dodged a draft, and made his money however he could. He's here because of exactly the kind of person that he's trying to erase. Donald Trump has spent years.
All right, so we just watched both of those, right? And this is what I'm getting from that. When you look at both things that's happening, you have white privilege. You have white folks that don't work for nothing. They just get it because they have white skin. And they get it because they cheat the system. And what gets me about, and this, you know, the whole thing with Trump's family, what's interesting is that it reminds me of what's going on with the Spanish-speaking community. They come over, but they pull the ladder up.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that he does. And it's just, I don't know what type of weird sickness that is, but that shit got to stop. I really don't understand why you think it's okay for you to come over here, whether, you know, it's pretty much illegal or whatever, as refugees, and nobody else. And then to know his family is just nothing but criminals and dodge drivers and stuff. I said, no wonder why he does the same thing. He did the same thing when he was supposed to join our military 4 different times. Said he had a goddamn expert. They also said the same thing about Barron Trump a couple of weeks ago. He's too tall. I said, well, that NBA player who was 7'0", who's taller than Barron Trump, he joined the military and put his NBA career on hold. So when I look at stuff like that, I'm just I tell people, and this is people can get us all they want. I don't believe that white folks being in leadership positions have been good for the world. You look at everything that's happened. For example, India. Everybody's forgetting why the whole Gandhi thing happened. They was fucking those people up in India. You look at China. Actually, you could look. Everybody keeps talking about like the Sacklers with the opioid crisis and stuff. Now, you got to go all the way back to the 1800s. The British Empire had all the people in China, most of them on drugs. It was called the opiate wars. Had them on everything, and then they was collecting the money from them. And then the Chinese was like, no, our people are getting sick. We're not going to do this no more. They said, okay, listen, either you do that or we fuck you up. The British Empire sent ships and war stuff over there saying that if you don't continue to buy this stuff and sell it to your people, we're going to annihilate a lot of people over here. If it wasn't for the world wars, I think that China wouldn't be what it is today. Because that's what bankrupt the British Empire. And then they had to regroup and get their money back because they were spread thin. I think that those wars was actually, I hate to say it, was a good thing, because if they would have been able to continue the way they were, the world wouldn't be what it is today.
Right.
You know, you wouldn't have people that will be able to fight back. We will be, and again, from white folks. Look what's going on in Australia. Not only did they almost kill off all the Aboriginals, but now they're talking about anti-immigration now. I said, well, do y'all know where you white folks came from? The British Empire sent you guys away because you were fucking criminals. So your lineage is a family of criminals. How are you going to go to Australia, where there was already people living there, and say that you don't want them there and you don't want immigrants there, and you guys shouldn't even be there? You're criminals. Same thing that happened in South America. Look, we're going to Argentina. Argentina was so successful, they wiped out all the Aboriginals there. And what's funny about Argentina is that everybody's white Latino, white this, white. But I said, but you guys are in poverty now.
Yeah.
Yeah, got what you wanted. You got a whole white country, but now you guys are in poverty. Now you guys are homeless. Now you guys don't have jobs. I said, I thought that's what it was all about. You guys were going to have this white society, and now you guys are over there starving. That's why.
Well, that's because they tricked them into believing that whiteness will solve all their problems.
I would never.
And they also use things like religion and the political system to dupe them into going along with that, because these are systems where they're set up so that people have to, number one, rely on them, and then number two, are trained not to question anything politically or religious. And that's where these things come from.
But you know, this is the thing about that, is that you got to just think about it. These motherfuckers can't even wash their own ass. What makes you think I'm going to sit here and listen to them about hygiene and about being a decent human when they ate people? They made.
Well, hold on. You know the Moors are the ones who taught them how to take baths and introduced them to the concepts of math and science and stuff.
And the Moors need to get the shit slapped out their ass because they should.
But see, this is the thing though. Black people, people of color, have always been. I learned the term. It's going to come to me, but basically, we have always been welcoming of immigrants and people who live differently. I forget what the term is. It's going to come to me. And so we've always been open to teaching people our ways of life and ways that they can improve themselves and things like that. And we still do it. If you look at Black culture, we're still doing it. We teach people our dances. We teach people how to sing like us, how to act like us, how to dress like us. And they benefit from us. They benefit from that, and we don't. And that's happened to us throughout history.
That's on us, though. That is on us. I am so sick. It's like black, and this is why we talked about this on a couple of episodes. When it comes to these docile ass church pastors and Hattie McDaniel, not Hattie McDaniel, her in real life, but her Gone with the Wind character. Oh, mammy shit. I'm over it. I'll tell everybody when shit hits the fan, I don't want to be around no Mammy and Coombs. Keep those motherfuckers over there, because I'm telling you, the world is, things about to pop off. And I said, if it pops off that way and you think that y'all gonna hop your asses over here being docile and doing that stuff, that's not gonna work for me, because that's the reason why I'm in this position now. If the Moors should have never helped their ass. Should have never helped them. Black people, with us not gatekeeping our culture, just like with that dog-faced ass Jack Harlow. This motherfucker he called himself, "Oh, I'm getting blacker." Motherfucker, you are pale white with a weird face. There's nothing black about you, bro. There ain't shit about black about you. You what you do is you culture appropriate. You use our stuff to make yourself popular.
That's right.
You have other black people that be in his midst. Like, yeah, he's doing it because first of all, he's Jewish. The music industry is owned by Jews, and they're going to promote his ass. They've been trying to do this forever. You forget it when Eminem first came. First of all, fuck going to Eminem. Vanilla Ice.
Yeah,
I remember when Vanilla Ice came out. Even some of the rappers, they said we have never seen a record company that sit there and promote not one black artist like that. Yeah. Especially not a rap artist. They said they was sitting. He had a commercial on TV. They talked about it on the news. They said they were promoting him. I said, and it was good that the black community at the time was like, this dude is whack, and they cut that shit off immediately. And then they kept trying to get their white rapper. And it just wasn't working. Eminem came about, and then you seen the same thing happen with Eminem, which was rightfully so. Eminem actually has the goods to do it. Yeah. Eminem does it, killing it. Now he gets a movie deal. Now he's everywhere. They promote. And they said, again, we don't even get promoted like that. That's all the rap artists' problem. That's their fault. The producers, Timbaland, he's the reason why Justin Timberlake got a career right now. Those songs were originally meant for Michael Jackson. People don't even know that. That whole album that made him famous, that was Michael Jackson songs. Michael Jackson rejected all that shit. So Justin Timberlake should be thanking Michael Jackson, and he should be thanking Timbaland for getting his career off the ground. People don't know this stuff. We got to stop teaching these people our shit. We got to start gatekeeping.
We are the only culture who gives our shit away
for free.
For free. You look at Jewish people. If black people started doing that pin the dreidel and all that shit,
oh shit,
we would get shut down. Mexicans, they got their culture. Asians got their culture, and all of them do that stuff, and none of them are coming over teaching us how to do that shit. As a matter of fact, if you were black and you go into their spaces trying to do it, they're gonna look at you like you're crazy.
Yes,
and they might pull out a rod and beat your ass with it.
Exactly. But the funny thing is about it, don't nobody want their shit. You tell me something that Asians are doing that's cool that black people want to do. There ain't nothing. Jewish people.
Okay, now Jewish people. Now I want the Jewish. Give me their money. Give me the money.
We can take the money, but that's money. What about the culture? I'm not
their culture. What we need to take from Jewish culture is Jewish people. When one of them make money, 5 more of them make money. So, like for instance, if you go to a doctor's office, you'll go there for treatment and they'll say, oh, you need to go over to see this specialist. And it'll be something you really don't need, but they say, no, you go over there and get it anyway. So that one can get money. And then he'll refer you to somebody else. And so they got a ring of people who are making money. And I think we need to take that from them because Jewish people have that down well. They don't let people fuck around with their culture. We need to take that. We are the only people who will let people say slick shit and say horrible. And all we do is we get online. And as a matter of fact, we beat each other. If we applied the same pressure that we apply to things like Miss Tina's Gumbo, even a little bit of that to when people say slick shit about black culture and do all these anti-black things, we would get a lot more respect. As a matter of fact, the violence that we have for each other, and I try not to encourage violence, but I do believe that sometimes you do have to show people you a little crazy. And if we got out and did that a little bit more, even in modern society, we would get a lot more respect. But black people treat each other worse than anyone does. So we need to fix that first.
I will agree with you on that because I was talking to some black people the other day and they were just so they were so rude about a lot of stuff. It was just like you couldn't say nothing to them. It was like if you're not agreeing with their opinion that's like pro-black, then it's a problem. And I said, I'm just not going to agree with your opinion because you're black. I said, we don't even rock with each other. Clear example, I never understood how the Bloods and the Crips, and I stated this before, I never understood how the Bloods and the Crips, how they literally harm each other. But when these dog smelling ass cops come around, all of a sudden, y'all scattering like flies. Y'all running. I'm like, what happened to grabbing yourself and what up, dog? And y'all were tough. I said, but y'all run away from the cops? I said, so we're tough against each other, but we're not tough against the cops? The same with all these Mexican cartels and stuff. These, let me tell you something. I have literally seen Mexican people out here run Black, Asian, and Black and Asian people out of here from opening food courts. They did all types of shit. So the Asians got their little spot over there. They don't come over here, and the Mexicans stay over here. I've literally seen them run people out. I said, so you're gonna run people out, but I said, where's all your gangs with ICE out here?
Yep.
I said, ICE is fucking y'all up. ICE is pulling y'all out of schools, beating on y'all.
Coming, shutting down them little fruit and hot dog stands they got
all
in
of
the
it.
corner. Yeah.
And I said, where's all y'all gangs at? And I said, not only that, when you look at what happened in Mexico, I said, y'all don't have no room to talk about nobody. All you motherfuckers over there is Mexican. The cartel and the government got into a whole thing, and they tore that whole fucking thing up. There was no other races over there besides you guys. That's why I tell people, when it comes to these like groups, I said, y'all got to work on your own shit before y'all start talking shit about everybody else. I agree. I told the co-host the other day, I said, I agree with Samson that me and you were talking the other day, and you said we're cooked as a Black community. I agree with you.
Oh, yeah, we could.
I agree with you up to like 60, 70%. Because
no, it got to be 85, 90%. I'm telling you. Because the problem is if you tell Black people, hey, we need to rethink how we're approaching politics. Oh, you're a coon. How can you tell us this and that? What you mean? This system is not built for us. So why are we not interrogating it? Why are we not figuring out a new way to approach it? You know, if you tell Black people, hey, you know, we're the only ones who do religion the way we do it. That way of thinking, people scared to take that lock off their brain and really probe some shit and really figure out, okay, how do we deal with this in a realistic way that makes sense, in a practical way? And how do we as Black people, and this does require us to, I don't like to use the word trauma, but a lot of that religious trauma and all that other stuff that we have is not helping us to advance. A lot of Black people are in love with struggle. Too in love with struggle to ever truly amass any type of wealth. Because all of a sudden, if you're not struggling, that makes you less Black. If you're not struggling, I can't trust you. If you're not struggling, you're not down. Like, we are so, Black people have a fetish for abuse. We have a fetish for terrorism. We have a fetish for struggle. And we have to let that go if we are to move forward as a culture in a way that truly will benefit us.
Yeah. No,
I mean, it turns us on. Getting beat by the cops, that turns us on. We love struggle relationships. We love all that baby daddy shit. You know, we love having fucked up families, and we have to undo all that if we are to move forward. We hate to see each other be successful, you know, and that is due to how we were conditioned during slavery, for sure. And we have to let go of that slave thinking. A lot of Black people are slaves to their thinking, to their habits, to things that we call culture. And as beautiful as Black culture is, some of that shit we got to let go. As a culture, that's too hard for a lot of Black people. And that's why I say they cook. And it's going to take the people who know better to go do better and help other Black people who want to do better. But the Black people who don't, who feel like, oh, you cooning out because, you know, you are attacking a system that has never worked for us. You're cooked. That system will never benefit you in any type of way.
And that's why we told people that why we built FTP is because we were really trying to build community. Because you start talking to people like I go to Iconics' gym down the street, and when I tell you the Black people be having so many fucking attitudes with each other, I'd be so over it. I'm just like, why are we treating each other like this?
Black people hate each other.
It is bad. When I tell you, I told Nicki and Trey about these two studs that was in there, and one was more of a girlier, the other one was a stud, lesbian, for people that don't know. And they were using one of the machines, and then they wiped it off barely, and then they took their stuff. And so once people move their stuff, you're like, okay, they're moving over. That's just normal gym thing. And so I go over there to use, and I say, hey, I just want to make sure you're done, because another black girl got upset at me because she went to a whole nother machine, and then she had took her bag or stuff, but she left her towel. So I said, you took everything, but you left this towel, but you took all your stuff over there. So I'm thinking that she's done. And she got an attitude with me. So I asked people, I said, hey, are you still using the machine? No, we ain't using it. No, you can go ahead. Like with an attitude. And I was just like, what's wrong with you? And it's just like, and then you have the black dudes in there, they make it a point to say hi to other black people and act like, and they do it so loud. And then what they do is they be rude about it. So
and you say these are other black men?
Yes. And they would have their, and I'll have my weights right there, and I would see other people with their weights as well, and they would just come grab their weights like they're not using it, and for you to say something to them. And I'm like, you know that this person is using the weights. Why would you do that just to cause an argument? I agree. Black people, we do have we have a lot of work to do.
It's not love unless you again. It comes down to black people like to feel shit, and it either has to be something really bad, or it has to be something that makes us. We're very codependent. Very codependent. I need the politician to come promise me this. He ain't gonna give you shit. I need for you to tell me this, or I hate to say it, or black people just like to be treated really bad. We don't understand shit running on time. We don't understand like going into a space where shit is working and things are happening. We tear shit up. That is and we have to be willing to have that conversation. So really, we can't be upset when other people who aren't black say something about it, because when we go places, why are y'all loud?
Yeah.
Why y'all got to fight in these establishments? Like, calm the fuck down. Act like you got some sense.
Oh, Wesley. Yeah. We went to a car show, and this is not to say nothing about bad about black people, but that Baddies Girl Club or Bad Girls Club or whatever that shit is on Zeus Network, loud and just ghetto. Well, we went there and we was like, oh, we're having a good time. And then he knew some people that was a part of this crew. And when I tell you it was beyond ghetto, and when I tell you they were so loud, and you talking about at a car show where there's thousands of people, everybody heard the black girls. Girl, child. I was like, oh my God. I said, y'all right in front of each other. Well, what they did was there was this ramp to go up. So we were, what's that? The big Bronco. We got onto the Bronco. And so it goes up this thing, and then it goes down like that. And you're supposed to have a seatbelt on and everything. When I tell you, as soon as they got up, the black girls turned around and started twerking. And even the lady that was driving, she says, what is wrong with y'all? Because this thing could have tipped over. That's the shit we be talking about. People, what FTP, this is why we tell people we can't just talk about, because, I get, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. I don't want to talk about white folks all day. I don't want to talk about Asians. I don't want to talk about Latins. I don't. I said, sometimes we got to work on our own shit.
We do.
And it looked like they got upset with the white woman for looking at them like that. And I said, do you understand that you not only put your life in danger, but y'all could have fell out the car? It was, and what bothered me was that the other white folks like, oh, did you see that? No, just talk. And I'm just like, no class. No fucking class whatsoever. And I was so upset about it. And I told him, and he was like, did you want them to hang? I said, I don't want them hanging with us. I said, they met you here, but they were already on their other side. I'd rather them go to the other side and we keep our group. I can't deal with the ghetto stuff. I don't want to cause any other issues. I came to have a good time, not a bad time. And so I agree with you on that. And that's the problem. Like, people get upset that we have to have this conversation, but everything ain't just all pro-black all the time. There's black don't fuck with us.
Like, for instance, if you go into a space and you're well-spoken and you're laid back, oh, he acts white, and then you show up and, people shaking their ass with bonnets on and all that type of stuff. And again, it's all kinds of different black people. But if somebody is, more reserved, a little bit more dignified, because it is dignified behavior, that should not be classified as white. And again, that's some, I think the proper term is, that's some psyop type shit, where they done told black people, oh, well, if you're well-spoken and you're educated and you carry yourself with dignity and this and that, then you're a white person. because that tells Black people that to be educated, to be well spoken, and all that type of stuff is a bad thing. And I saw a meme, I think it was on Instagram, that said a Black person speaking properly and all that is not white. In fact, that is very Black. Being educated is very Black. Being well spoken is very Black. And we have to, get that, because I think one time in like the 60s, we had that idea, be upstanding, be educated. But it's like now we got to go and we got to fight and make a scene. And that's what we call culture. And that's insane.
Yeah, I think the breakdown happened with the drugs that happened.
Let me get my charger right quick.
Oh, no problem. But I think the thing that happened was with the drug wars, and because I spoke to a lot of people about the drug wars and things of that nature, and I tell them, I said, when it comes to the drug wars, it did mess up the Black community. The problem that I have with the whole thing with the drug wars and messing up the Black community is that how did we fall for it? We came out of the Civil Rights Act. We came out of all these things. And I said, for us to go from being educated and going to colleges and building things and, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X to going to slinging dope, I was like, how the hell did we just do this downside like that? I said, let the other races of people do that. The problem is, it's just like we just stopped banding together. We stopped sticking together. And I don't know how hard that hit or how hard the drugs hit, but we just stopped sticking together. And from that point, it's just been everybody separate. And then you had the rap and all the rap wars and stuff. And then, the blue versus the red. It's just so stupid when we're all fucking Black. I don't get it.
I think I think for one, I think we would have been much better off had our group stayed segregated. And I know that sounds horrible, but Black people recognizing that we're all we have, that we need to be spending our money with each other, that we really just collectively, no matter where you're Black and where you are, and this really is what we call Black nationalism, that we should have a code, that we should have an understanding amongst each other, that we are all we have. That's what we need to get back to. And we had that before we got the Civil Rights Act and all this different type of stuff where we no longer needed each other. But we need to understand and act like we're all we have.
Yeah. And I think that's the problem. It's just like we are not, what do you call that, reading the room? And I said, we got to read the room, because I said, I was watching something with Nigeria. Nigeria is all under the Queen of England, all the asshole right now. And I'm sitting here like, as much as y'all come over here talking big shit, like y'all this and that, and I said, y'all over here needing, asking for handouts from the British Empire. I said, do you not understand what they did to us for 500 years? And you're going to run back to that? So you want to go back to an abusive relation. You want to be tested on by Bill Gates. You want to be in poverty. You want to have bombs dropped on. Okay, I get it. And we just got some Black people we got to let go.
The thing is Black people, and this is why, again, I say it is important for us to question the systems that we've been given, because you can look at anything that we have, and I will say that Black Christianity makes us feel good. It sounds great when you go to a church on Sunday and the choir is singing all good and the pastor tell you some shit that make you feel good and raise your self-esteem for another week, and you scream and roll around all up under the seats and stuff. But when you look at those systems, they have done nothing to help us truly advance. They have helped us survive, and that's it. Nothing has helped us overturn anything that is happening to us. And that is because when you have something like religion that teaches you, when somebody's oppressing you, to turn the other cheek, that's what you're going to keep doing. And Black people don't got no more cheek to turn. No more cheek to turn. And some sort of magical way, because we are that warm and that understanding and that used to abuse, we keep coming up with spare cheek to slap. None of those things teach you how to overturn. They don't teach you how to question. They don't teach you how to fight back dirty the way you need to sometimes in order to move ahead. Because if you look at the system that we are in, it is not a just system. Nothing about what we're in is fair or equal, and it never will be. And Black people need to understand that fighting fair will not get us anything. So when I say no, sometimes I don't vote. Yes, I ask questions. Yes, I think both of the Democrats and Republicans are two sides of the same coin. It is because it is. And none of it has helped Black people, and none of it ever will, because it's not made for us, and nothing that is not made for you will never help you. We have to make it for ourselves and do it for ourselves. We got to stick together and start kicking ass.
I agree with that.
Nothing about this system that we're in will ever help us. We fighting the same battles that our great grandparents fought. We're doing it now, except we got computers to do it. That's the only thing that's changed. Ain't nothing changed but the weather. Everything is still the same. And so when I say, yes, we should ask critical questions, yes, we should approach this with a critical way of thinking, that's what I mean. And I say that because I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of it. We the only people who think it's, when you really think about it, feel bad about being rich, feel bad about seeing success. And that's conditioning.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. And you know what? Speaking about religion, I want to show this real quick in regards to.
Somebody said, I'm sure the Black folks who had student loans discharged would disagree. Whoop-de-doo, they threw your ass a bone to keep you happy for another 5 minutes. Great.
They didn't do shit with mine, so I don't give a fuck. But fuck that.
They still are now making, changing our economy to a digital one where that degree don't matter anymore that you got. So how is that helping you? So whoop-de-doo, they gave you something to jump up and down and clap for another 5 minutes. And that's the problem with Black people. We're too happy with the smallest thing. Oh, they gave us Juneteenth. Wow. Michael B. Jordan won an Oscar. Wow. Keep your Black ass happy for another 5 minutes while they keep fucking you with no grease. And that's the problem with us. They ain't even take your ass out to dinner. They just fuck you with no grease, and they're going to keep doing it.
It's like, so what you're saying is like they just throw a bone. Oh, let me
throw us bones. And we're the only people who accept that. You go watch how Jewish people do politics. They make them come in there and they tell us, we're not voting for you. My grandmother died and she was the matriarch of this community, Greta Bernstein, and we're not voting for you until you build a health center, and you have to fund the health center for the next 10 years. They get the tangibles. We don't. White Joe Biden and them can come to a Black church, catch the Holy Ghost one time, and we feel good watching him jump up and down up in there. He catch the Holy Ghost one time. The man don't believe in God at all, but he came down to the church. He ate chicken. He told your grandmama she can fry some chicken and all that, and that makes us feel good. But nothing about that. We've got no kind of tangibles.
You know, that was another thing. The same thing with Bill Clinton. Since you said that, I remember when he went and performed at the Arsenio Hall show, and how the Black was like, "Oh, he's Black. Y'all forgetting, wasn't he responsible for the 3 strikes?
3 strikes.
I say, and they had targeted the Black community, and y'all.
Which, to be fair, at the time, that was progressive at the time, but there were other ways that could have been handled. But what people have to understand is these politicians aren't working independently. Politicians and major celebrities, they are owned by big corporations. So those big corporations tell them what they have to do.
That is true. That is true. And since we were speaking of something, you were talking about what the Jewish people pretty much get. I want to show these videos real quick. This will be our last segment of today. And somebody pretty much broke down a lot of this stuff. I want you guys to take a look. We'll be right back.
Were enslaved by Jews in America.
The Jewish boxes have framed white people for the enslavement of Black Americans.
But Jews like Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who owned our textbooks, wrote lies to our generations blaming white people for slavery when it was in fact Jews who owned and sold slaves in America. Worse, the Jews still own Blacks today. Yeah, it's true. Look at the black man, who has been controlled by Jew slave owners since his arrival on North American shores. The Jew raped and pillaged the black man's ancestors, and still does today. The Jew-owned record labels and media companies began to pump out imagery of degenerate, criminal, gangster blacks in the 90s, and the result is carbon copies of that trash filling our streets and ruining society. All of this is by design, by Jews, to destroy the white man's nation with blacks as their bioweapon bowling ball. And it's working perfectly, because blacks eat right out of the Jew gangster culture like goats. Blacks have purposefully been given degenerate archetypes and stereotypes to aspire to and become by Jews who own and shape the media, to destabilize and create chaos in America. They have fed degenerate values to the black race and have continued their farming of blacks in America, just like they did in slave days. Blacks can be led to clean waters, but cannot be forced to drink. Only they can divest and disavow from the Jew who has enslaved them in America for close to 500 years. Blacks were...
And then I want to show this next one right here as well. Take a look. We'll be right back.
No, the Jews today are called frauds by God and the synagogue of Satan in the Bible. Yes, the same people who bombed and killed 28,000 innocent women and children. The same people who funded the transatlantic slave trade and were majority of the slave owner themselves. Oh, you didn't know that, did you? Well, yes, it's true. Sources such as Jews and Negro slavery in the Old South and United States Jewry both state such a groundbreaking fact. The Bible even calls them the synagogue of Satan. In Revelation 2:9 and Revelation 3:9 says that God will make those who call themselves Jews but do lie worship before the feet of the real Jews, which are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Arthur Koestler, who was a Jewish man himself, actually wrote a book called The 13th Tribe, probing how the Ashkenazi actually came from Europe and are of Khazarian lineage, and converted to Judaism not from the ancient land of Israel. And Charles Wiseman wrote a book called Who is Esau Edom, and states that the Ashkenazi are descendants of Esau and not of Jacob. Romans 9:13 says that God hates Esau and loves Jacob. It says this both in the New and Old Testament. This would explain why they hide behind the name Jacob and refuse to accept their name, Esau. This would explain why they have so many anti-hate organizations to prevent you from learning that they are Esau. Why? Because if God himself says he hates Esau and you're a follower of God, what's stopping you from doing the same? Did you know the Jews today?
So I want to know what you thought about that. Now, have you ever read that book? Somebody they got that book, the Jews and the Slaves of the South. Mm-hmm. That book was so telling. Do you know that?
I saw it in Marcus Books.
Yeah, we call them tiny hats, but fuck it. Do you know that nobody could sell or buy slaves without Jewish permission? The Khazars, those people, the Ashkenazis, they had the whole book in there where they told you the price of the girl, the price of the boy, which regions, how you can sell them, if they are bigger, if they're smaller. They had the whole thing laid out. You could not buy a slave unless you went through them first. Mm. And then what they did is they blamed the whites, which they goofy asses like, oh, they like us, so we can hold on to whiteness. And so what they did is they went along with it. Mm-hmm. And when I read parts of the book, actually, I was just like, well, damn. I said, something's really wrong with these people. Because if you start to look at their history, every country they had been in, they've been in Russia. Well, it was called USSR at the time. Turkey, but it was called something else before then. All these countries they've been kicked out of for the same shit that they did now. Now, I'm starting to understand what the mustache man was doing, because I said they do the same shit over and over.
The who?
Mustache man. You know who that is. I mean, literally, you have to start looking at stuff, and I'm sitting here like, something's wrong with these people. And then we showed a video the other week, and there was little kids in the bunkers while our American soldiers are dying for them. They in there smoking cigarettes. They was spitting on people. They was beating on people, all stuff. And then we showed another video where the guards was grabbing the men, and they were raping them for hours. All on TV camera, and the Israeli court said that we're not going to try them. Mm. I'm telling you, there's something demonically wicked about them. That's why I was just like, black people, we gotta band together, baby. I don't know
Black
how else to
people.
do
I
it.
think that Black people, we have built every industry in this country by hand, hand and brain. And all we had was somebody beating us, going more, more, more.
Mm-hmm.
We've been terrorized into doing it, and we really do own everything in this country, but we have been tricked into believing, a bunch of madness that has caused some psychosis with a lot of us. A lot of us live in fear. And more than all of that, we've been scapegoated.
Yeah.
And so, it really has done a number on our self-worth. And I think it is the one thing that is truly, and when I say violent, I don't necessarily mean, going out and acting up. I do believe, as much peace and love as I am, I do believe that in order for things to really change, there will need to be blood in the streets, and it's going to have to come to that. And any real revolution that we've had in our history has had to involve people who were willing to die. And when I say willing to die, I don't mean just physically die, but I mean, to speak out and tell the truth means to risk your livelihood. It means to risk your reputation and all those different things. And so people have to be willing to, by any means, acquire justice. And that's not something people just give you. That's something you have to create for yourself. And that is something that we have to take.
That is true. And you guys, we are almost out of time today. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our closing segments. There was a few videos that popped up. This one, this is why I tell people, let these animals in the wild be animals in the wild. I want you guys to take a look at this. We'll be right back.
Manu क्या बोल रहे?
Leave those animals alone. And then this guy had me cracking up. I don't know if this was in a country in Africa, but take a look.
Colonizers, come on, come on. All right. Gentrify the tick, gentrify the tick. Come on. Hey. What? Come on. Hey. Go on. Hey. AME. Hey. Go on. Gentrify it. Gentrify it. Gentrify it. Gentrify it. Okay, we're back. Take it back. Take it back. Take it back from the colonizers. Take it back from the colonizers. Hey. Take it back from the colonizers. Hey.
See, you can even see the difference in how it is. I don't know if you was hearing, he was saying the colonizers, gentrify.
Yeah,
I was hollering. That's why I be saying, you put us up, they can't do what we do. They cannot. And then also, this had me cracking up since we were talking about a lot of church today. I know you've seen praise dances before, but this had me hollering. Take a look.
Track 2.
Amen, amen. God is good. Yes. Oh, yes. Let him use you, baby.
Truth is, I'm tired.
Take your time. Take your time. Let him use you. Praise God for whom all blessings. Oh.
Come on now, let's praise Him.
I can't think what's left to do.
Yes, sir.
And that's just how it be. And I'll be like, I get it, y'all, but y'all doing the most. And the last one, want to go out on a good note. So now that we're older, you can only choose one TV mom. Who you pick? Lisa, D, Wanda, or Claire?
Claire.
From Sister. D was from Moesha. Wanda was from the Bernie Mac Show, and Claire was from the Cosby Show.
Claire.
You said Claire? I said Wanda. I'll tell you why. The reason why I said Wanda is because She was cool as shit. She didn't bother you. And now, I don't get me wrong, Claire, I'll put her up there as well. But why did it really didn't bother you? You know, do your thing and you good. She had a good job. She didn't bother you, and it was all good. Now, when it came to like Lisa and Claire, I was like, they're definitely a close second to me. I would not choose D though.
You wouldn't choose D?
Hell no. She was. Have you seen Moesha? She was over the top. I don't like that whole thing where, and we spoke about this a few minutes ago, where you are literally sitting there and you have something to say about the kids growing up all the time. Like you were not back in the day sucking dick. Like you were not laying on everybody's lap. Like
a lot of our parents was hoes.
Yeah, I said, stop doing that. I said, if you know they're doing it, that's why I said when some of these cool parents, besides the ones that be giving alcohol away and stuff, but some of these cool parents, when they like, hey, strap up or take birth control, whatever, that's good advice. But to sit here and like talk down to them, like, oh, you a whore, you a slut. I'm not with that because
that's the parent disowning because I mean it came from somewhere. Usually, if the child is like that, the parent also had some of the behavior and sees that in the child and hates that because they see themselves.
Yeah, my thing is, and this is just a word of advice to everybody. Hey, don't the judging, let that go. Y'all did stuff in the past. I heard so many stories. And we doing it too. And when it comes to this next generation, let them live their life. Just give them some advice, but don't sit there and call them whores and all that stuff when you was doing the same goddamn thing in the 1960s and the 1920s.
Not the 1920s.
Hey, same thing. Hey, so where can they find you at? Anything upcoming? Anything exciting?
Just Instagram at Samson McCormick. SAMPSONMCCORMICK. I am a black man who genuinely loves black people. I love our culture. I love us. And I am a brother who really, prides himself on really examining how we're impacted by things. And that can be very uncomfortable, and acknowledging the truth about that can be uncomfortable sometimes, but it's all in love. And I think James Baldwin used to say all the time, I critique my country, I critique my community because I love it so much.
Yeah, that's why I've said we like to have all people's opinions on this show, especially black. So I appreciate you coming on here. Thank you so much. I know your schedule is very, very busy. It's hard to get you on here. I see you doing your podcast as well.
Yeah, we have conversations like this. We talk about sexuality. We talk about, because that's another big thing Black people need to deal with. But we talk about it all, and also Vision, thank you for what you do, and the viewers, even the ones who disagree with with some of the things that were said. That's still important because we need to be able to have these conversations and learn how to see each other and still be able to agree to disagree, and do that in a productive way. And I think that's what happens here.
Yes, and that's why I'm glad that we created FTP, because we need to have a sit down discussion and talk, because we got to band together. I don't know what's going to happen in the next few months, but we got to band together.
We'll be fine. Black people are always fine.
We always make a way. We just got to make sure we protect each other this time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I'm worried about. And also, I just want to let you guys know, Nicki had added some other things to the FTP store. So we got this. She put it on there. It's like the price is right, but it's the Dow is 50,000. So she got that shirt out there. That also, I ran up gas prices graphic tee. So we have a few of these shirts and mugs and cups and stuff like that. Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened there. But other than that, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Nick Nack After Dark, of course, is on Friday. And so we'll give you more updates in regards to that. Other than that, please like, share, subscribe. We will see you next time. Take care.
FTP Podcast has partnered with Savage X Fenty. New members get up to 60% off site-wide with Savage X Rewards. Exclusive pricing and discounts on Fenty Beauty and Fenty Skin. Access this special offer via our link tree at linktr.ee/FTP. t.ee/FTP podcast show. Savage X Fenty, delivered by FTP.
Silk Press Jesus has returned. He's white, historically rebranded, and grinder approved for Christian comfort. Don't miss your blessing. Order now.
Get on out, get out, get on out. Can't stay on the scene unless you got that green. Whoa! Get out, get on out, get out, get on out. Ice is on that ass, you don't get a fourth chance. Whoa! Get out, get on out, whoa, get out. I didn't vote black, got that ass in back.